All right, it's July 23rd, 2024. This is Carnivore Ken, your favorite carnivore, for what are we doing today? We are doing a run, walk video in the high heat index of southern Georgia. I started out wanting to just do a 5-mile run, and it's just so hot here that I just didn't feel the mojo. So what I decided to do, instead of doing a 5-mile run, I'm turning it into an 8-mile walk run. And what I've been doing is the first mile and a half I did run, and then I started walking. I was feeling super wore out, and now what I've been doing is walking for a while, not for very long, and then I see a spot and I try to sprint to it. Walk for a little while, I see a spot and then I try to sprint to it. And what I feel that's doing is I'm able to really tax the deep areas of my lungs and still get a good workout in without just doing a sluggish jog in the heat. The sprinting seems to help me feel more, I guess, what you call them, endorphins, like feel more good, because I'm sprinting real hard to a spot and I'm gasping for air when I stop. I keep walking and I just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. And I am limited on my time limit, how far I can go today, but I am out over 3 miles right now, and I'm still heading out, so we'll have to see. I was going to do the trail run again today because then it would offer me some shade, but we've had a lot of thunderstorms lately, and that trail gets real flooded when you get too much rain. So I'm more or less out here on the open road. Right now I am kind of in a more rural area, but there's a few houses here. There is some shade, but not a whole lot of shade like you get when you're doing the trail running. But yeah, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? Especially those old folks, man, you gotta keep on pushing it. You can't just give up. Let's talk about what I've been doing as far as my eating regimen lately. These are the foods I've been eating. Carnivore, granted, anything from an animal. But I did add the fermented pickles and sauerkraut, which is also fermented plant material. But I also added raspberries, blueberries, walnuts, and pecans. And a lesson learned, what I think is going on with all that is it's too easy to overindulge, not on the sauerkraut and the fermented pickles, but on the nuts and the berries. Although I'm sure they're very nutrient dense, I feel my weight all of a sudden is starting to go up, and not in a good way, in a fluffy way around my midsection. So I am going to cut out the walnuts, the pecans, and the berries, and at least for a while, and just do that periodically, because it's a lot of us that are metabolically challenged. We also have a carb addiction. Let me spit it out. Addiction, a carb addiction. And it's too easy to overeat. And I mean, I'm working on 3 years of being animal based, and I wasn't adding any carbs. And as soon as I do, my weight just starts going up. And in my mind, no wonder there's so many overweight and obese people, because they are fully eating those carbs and not having a second thought about it. maybe they should, right? Because we know all that extra weight drives, you know, a lot of the diseases that we have to deal with. We shouldn't be sick as a society. There's definitely something, at least here in the United States of America, that humans are doing wrong. We shouldn't be all walking around just expecting, because we're you know, reaching our 40s, 50s, 60s and above, that, you know, some chronic disease should, you know, is just normal. And I don't think it is. I mean, we're all going to die from something, granted, but, you know, developing type 2 diabetes and fatty liver and getting some of these cancers that are related to poor metabolic health, I don't think that is what we are meant to be like as a species. It simply doesn't make sense. You know, and as far as human beings adding plant material, well, look at the chimpanzees, for example. They are carnivores, but they eat some plants too in their natural habitat, you know, some plant matter. So I'm not against eating plant matter, but if you're going to overindulge, which obviously I do when I eat plant matter, maybe it's not a good thing. And I certainly don't believe in eliminating animal-based products because of all the nutrients that are in animal-based products that you cannot get from plants. They just don't exist. I mean, there's more than just B12, but B12 is a perfect example of something that you cannot get from plants. So, and since humans require B12, it makes sense that then that much must mean that we are meant to eat animal-based products, whether it's fish, other animals, etc. So, anyways, I also am out here getting some beautiful vitamin D. I am burning some fat because of the added, I mean, how much carbohydrates are in raspberries and blueberries, walnuts, which are high in fiber, and pecan are high in fiber. Not a whole lot, but if you're going to overindulge it, if you're going to eat it twice a day, you know, if you're at night and you're craving something sweet so you can run and get those raspberries, that's where it's becoming a problem for me. So I'm just going to cut it out. You know, and still have the sauerkraut, which is high in K2, which is, you know, hopefully it's supposed to help direct calcium out of the soft tissues into your bones. So it's like, for example, you don't want a bunch of calcium in your arteries, right? You know, so the K2 should help you with that. And that, you know, sauerkraut is loaded with K2. But you know, the berries are low on the glycemic index, but and I certainly wouldn't consider eating any bananas, apples, or mangoes, for example. But I just gotta cut them up because it's, you know, something outside of animal-based products. It's slightly sweet, and it's, for me as an individual, I can overindulge, and I feel my midsection getting fluffier and fluffier, and I want to get tighter and tighter down there, right? I don't think that's a good indicator when I'm getting fluffy around the midsection that I'm gonna be heading towards a lower hemoglobin A1C, right? That's my goal of doing all this. That's my marker that I'm looking to improve my chances for a longer health span. Notice I didn't say lifespan, but I expect if you have a longer health span, lifespan will go along with it. You know, just like you know, Dana White from the UFC says, you know, he used to follow all the doctor's advice, and he was on 3 separate medications, and, you know, cholesterol, blood pressure, and something for his thyroid, and just feeling like garbage all the time. Till he met, I think the guy's name is Baleka. Anyways, he put him on a health optimizing routine. Now he's off all his meds. You know, he does work out. You know, he does more like circuit training, resistance training, and he does, you know, the cold plunges, the saunas, the infrared, you know, all that kind of stuff. And I'm sure he's on a lower carb eating regimen, along with getting outside, getting a little sun exposure. But he basically, yeah, you know, I kind of have the same view. He basically is done with doctors, unless you you know, need them for a emergencies such as breaking a bone or something. But you go to a doctor just for general advice on health and fitness, and then taking all their medications, which have all kinds of downstream effects. I don't think better health comes that way. You're much better going down the path of trying to optimize yourself through nutrition, exercise, fresh air, sunlight, saunas, etc. So me and Dan White, we're on the same page there. You know, so remember, if you have a lot of lifespan but you don't have health span, sounds like you're going to be suffering for a long time, and maybe just be you know, wearing diapers and eating baby food for longer than I would care for. I'd rather, you know, have good health span and just maybe, if I'm going to die, fall over out here running in the Georgia heat when I'm 98 years old, right? So I want to be able to keep moving and keep feeling good. That is what, you know, living's all about. Living where you can't do things you enjoy. Is that really living? So, anything else going on this week? You know, he haven't heard from Joe Biden too much, and all of a sudden Kamala Harris is being ordained as the next Democratic presidential candidate. And how does this all relate to health and fitness area, like my videos generally are? Well, when it comes to what we are eating, and as far as food freedom goes, if there's ever a point where they decide that for climate change we need to start eliminating our animal-based products, which, you know, there's some out there already that are hinting at, like Bill Gates, most likely that's going to come from the Democrats, plain and simple. So Kamala Harris, because she is far left, is more likely to want to eliminate, maybe somewhere down the road, my food choices. Generally speaking, vegans, generally speaking, lean left and would be right on board with forcing us to limit our animal foods, you know, either by you know, making sure the prices go so far up that they become less affordable for us, you know, normal folks. So we're forced to eat their plant matter food slop that they come up with that looks like or is supposed to assimilate animal products, but it's really processed garbage. That seems to me to be more of a leftist view. So that's how, you know, this stuff does relate to, you know, health and fitness, right? Because us carnivores, us omnivores, us keto people, we want food freedom, and we want that food freedom to be affordable to the masses. So that is why I am supporting Donald J. Trump for President of the United States. And don't hate me for it, please. I know that's bad for, a lot of people are afraid to say such things because they don't want to lose a big portion of their viewerships. But I have voted for Democrats before. I voted for Granholm when I lived in Michigan more than once, and I voted for Al Gore. I voted for Bill Clinton. But now that we're hearing more and more about making meat out of insects and growing meat in petri dishes, and that's the answer to the environmental problems. Thanks but no thanks. That isn't going to be my cup of tea. That is coming from the far leftist groups. So that's where I fall on that idea. So that's why I am a little more I'm not far right for sure. I consider myself an independent, middle of the road, and under the right circumstances I could vote for a Democrat or an independent, but not if they're going to threaten my lifestyle choices. All right, and I guess I probably blabbed on long enough here. There really isn't a whole lot of new things I've really heard about on the news lately. I want to get back to my running and walking because I got a busy day ahead of me, and I want to stay motivated and dedicated. Like and subscribe if you would. If you don't hate me now because I'm voting for Donald J. Trump. I see a whole lot of hate out there, but hey, back in the old days we could vote for whoever we chose and we could still all be friends in the end. I mean, if it does end up being Kamala Harris, I certainly hope that things don't go so bad for. I'm more worried about the middle class. Things is getting more and more expensive. Food, gas, consumer goods. Our wages aren't going up to match that. So, if Kamala Harris gets in there, I hope she's very successful in making life better for the masses. But for the last 4 years, it just doesn't seem like things have been going in the right direction. So, all right, I'm gonna let y'all go. Stay optimized, stay motivated and dedicated. All right, even if you are in the southern heat. All right, have a good one. Carnivore Ken, out.